our channel, where we investigate the most intriguing and disturbing mysteries worldwide. Today's story will send shivers down your spine. It's about desert discoveries that have shocked the world. What is so terrifying about these discoveries that they have caused fear and uncertainty everywhere? We will reveal all the details, from the evidence to the stories behind these shocking revelations. You won't want to miss this, as we take you on a thrilling journey into the heart of this desert mystery. Together, we will try to uncover the truth and face the fears that have haunted humanity. An ancient mega lake lies beneath the desert. Scientists have unearthed evidence of a vast lake beneath the Sahara Desert's sands. This ancient lake was formed when the Nile River flooded the eastern part of the desert through a low channel near Wadi Tushka about 250,000 years ago. The enormous lake covered more than 42,000 square kilometers, 16,200 square miles, of land. It reached its maximum size when it rose to 810 feet, 247 meters, above sea level. A smaller lake also spanned 18,600 square kilometers, 7,200 square miles, and rose to 623 feet, 190 meters, above sea level. Ted Maxwell, a geologist at the National Air and Space Museum, and his colleagues found the evidence for the lake. They analyzed radar data from Egypt that the Space Shuttle Radar Topography mission collected. The Radar Topography mission collected the data, which used radar images to map the surface and subsurface of the desert. The geologists used these images to reconstruct the shape of an ancient lake by looking at the sediments blown by the wind. They also found evidence of water erosion on the bedrock and sediment buried under the sand. The radar detected these features because Egypt is very dry, so there was no interference from moisture in the ground. One of the places where the ancient water flowed was the Kisiba Oasis, the southernmost oasis in Egypt. The geologists identified this water route using the space shuttle's topography data. The oasis is now used for growing melons, and the water table is only 6.5 to 9.5 feet, 2 to 3 meters below the surface. Archaeological sites were also discovered. Archaeological sites were discovered and excavated in the Kasiba Tushka Valley in Egypt, about 250 miles west of the Nile and 810 feet above sea level. Scientists studied fossil fish found in the deposits and concluded that the Nile once flooded the entire valley and created a vast lake. The fossil fish were the critical evidence for this hypothesis. The researchers also noticed that the Paleolithic human settlements near Salima and Tafawi in Egypt matched the size of a lake that covered about 42,000 square miles. Near Bir Kasiba, about 148 kilometers west of the Nile, archaeological sites revealed a second lake, level 623 meters above sea level. The lake covered an area of about 18,600 square kilometers. The geologists also measured the elevation of the Tushka Channel, which carried Nile water into the desert. It helped them estimate the size of the second lake. The researchers said that these lakes added to the growing evidence of multiple lakes in North Africa during the early and middle Pleistocene periods. These lakes could have influenced human migration patterns. Their research was included in the Geology Journal's December 2010 edition, where it was published. A piece of an ancient protoplanet that is older than the Earth itself was found in the Sahara Desert. This discovery supports the existence of Pleistocene lakes in the Tuska region of South Egypt. An extremely rare fragment of an embryonic planet that existed before Earth was created was found in the Sahara Desert in the spring of 2020. This remarkable relic was unearthed in a distant region known as the Sahara Desert. Can you picture what our solar system looked like back then? The meteorite ERG-Check-2, also known as EC2, originated deep under the crust of an old protoplanet. A protoplanet is a small astronomical bodybuilding block for planets. The volcanic space rock is the oldest known lava that has ever fallen to Earth, according to a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Additionally, it offers a view into the formation of planets in the early stages of the solar system that has never been seen before. Scientists, led by Jean-Alex Barat, a geochemistry professor at the University of Western Brittany in France, leaped to analyze this unique time capsule from the solar system's infancy. The extraordinary time capsule is a member of the andesitic family of volcanic rocks and is unlike anything else that has ever been observed. When Barrett heard the initial descriptions of this rock, he knew they had found something unique. He and his colleagues knew how old EC2 was based on a previous study of another rare and acidic meteorite. But age was not the only thing they were interested in. They wanted to know how the primordial crust formed and what caused such strange and acidic melting. These samples are precious for the researchers who study them. EC2 was composed of several meteorites and weighed about 70 pounds. It was named after the place where it fell, the ERG Cheikh Dune Sea in Algeria. In May 2020, it was discovered that the stones included magnificent crystals. However, it is believed that earthly elements had eroded the extraterrestrial rocks for much longer before they fell into the desert. Barrett also verified that the stone was not a meteorite that had just landed on Earth. The rock showed signs of weathering, but the researchers knew it happened quickly on land, even in the Sahara Desert. They had studied other meteorites from Tatooine, the name they gave to the protoplanet that this rock came from. They collected meteorite samples and analyzed when this piece of protoplanet crust solidified again once lava and partly melted. They looked at the magnesium and aluminum in the rock and found it was about 4.56 billion years old. This made it the most aged piece of igneous crust on Earth. The next oldest igneous meteorite, NWA 1119, was 1.24 million years younger than this one. These rocks were older than the Earth itself, forming several million years after they did. This rock was remarkable in every way. It was not unique for its age, but also for its unusual chemical composition. The meteorite contains 58% silicon dioxide, which suggests that its ancient parent body had a crust constructed of andesite rock. This is in contrast to basalt, a far more common substance found in volcanically active regions of the Earth. These andesitic crusts undoubtedly existed in large quantities on asteroids and protoplanets in the early stages of the solar system's formation. However, in the billions of years since then, they have become scarce. During the chaotic and collision-prone phase in the history of our solar system, old protoplanets were either absorbed into larger entities like the Earth or shattered into fragments by other objects they collided with. It was total anarchy. ECO-2 is easily recognizable from all other asteroid groups, in large part since no other object with spectral properties comparable to those of ECO-2 has been discovered as of yet. Primordial crust remains are uncommon in the meteorite record and the asteroid belt today, the team noted in a study they conducted. They also added that this is the case. Therefore, the discovery of evidence is the holy grail of scientific research. The earliest differentiated protoplanets that filled the solar system and most of their debris were virtually invariably destroyed or developed into rocky planets. This is one of the reasons why it is so uncommon to discover such evidence more often. Another reason it is so unusual to find such proof more often is that the finding of this fragment of protoplanet needed to be more frequent. The team thought that ECO-2 had been torn from its parent body by one of these collisions only a few decades after the protoplanet's surface had cooled and hardened. It would give significant new information about planets evolving into embryos before Earth existed. Barrett added that he and his colleagues, along with other teams, are working on further experiments to confirm the age of EC2. He also mentioned that other teams are also working on these studies. The researchers are also looking into the crystals included within the rock. These crystals are older than the volcanic debris found all around them. All of these investigations will help them understand more about the composition of the magma that was formed during the early activity of a protoplanet. This, in turn, will enable scientists like Barrett to deduce a great deal about the creation of the crust of the protoplanet. Terrifying ancient crocodile, the size of a bus. A team of paleontologists in Tunisia found the world's most enormous marine crocodile, an ancient beast the size of a bus. They named it Macamosaurus rex and published their findings in Cretaceous Research. It was a prehistoric creature that had never been described in science before. It was over 10 meters, 30 feet long, and weighed over 3 tons. Its skull was over 5 feet long, showing it was a new species. Federico Fonti, a professor at the University of Bologna and the study's lead author, said that the crocodile was enormous. He said it was massive, almost like a bus. He also noted that it was the top predator in its time and place. Fonti and his team discovered the fossils near the edge of the Sahara Desert in Tunisia, a country rich in fossils. They had the support of the National Geographic Society Committee for Research and Exploration. They were not surprised to find fossils, but were amazed to see such impressive ones. They were buried under a few inches of sediment. It took Fonti and his crew 2 days to unearth the skull from its buried location, and the remainder of the body was sitting there, providing archaeologists with the ideal treasure. Researchers have found the skeletons of fish and turtles at this site. which they are currently attempting to identify. This site was likely home to a lagoon that looked out onto the ocean. There is a possibility that some intriguing riddles, as well as answers, are concealed in their bones. According to Fanti, the MRX was fully capable of hunting in the water and had the potential to be either a predator that ambushes its prey or a scavenger. The newly discovered monster, MRX, was compared to other crocodiles with enormous heads and short teeth, which led researchers to conclude that the newly discovered animal had an incredibly tremendous bite force that enabled it to smash the food it consumed. This discovery is interesting for various reasons, not just because of its size, but because the MRX turtles would have provided a fabulous feast for the researchers. According to Fenty, this is significant because it casts doubt on prehistoric beliefs about life. At the close of the Jurassic period, approximately 150 million years ago, it was believed that the crocodile group that MREX belonged to had been extinct. On the other hand, this particular Amex existed approximately 130 million years ago. Then, the prior research revealed a major global extinction between the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods that wiped out a lot of marine reptiles, including this group of reptiles. This extinction occurred between the Jurassic and Cretaceous periods. According to Fonti, the MREX species survived for thousands of years after the Great Extinction that is hypothesized to have occurred. So this is just another unreliable theory. Because of this, Fonti and his team concluded that the hypothesis of widespread extinction was flawed and that the scientific community had to understand better what occurred at the close of the Jurassic period. In addition, the fossils of an unusual animal discovered in the Sahara have piqued the interest of scientists. Fossils of a strange animal in the Sahara. Imagine a whale that could walk on land and hunt down its prey with a powerful bite. This might sound like a nightmare, but it was a reality 43 million years ago in the Sahara Desert. Scientists in Egypt have discovered the fossil of an extinct amphibious four-legged whale with unique features on its skull and jaw, allowing it to chew more efficiently. It means these walking whales had a predatory diet and were probably dangerous and deadly. One of the researchers, Abdullah Gohar, said the animal could kill anything it wanted. This fossil is unlike anything you've seen before, and it reveals new insights into the evolution of whales. Scientists found a new whale species in Egypt called Phyomycetus anubis, after the Egyptian god of mummification and the afterlife, who had a dog's head. It was an amphibious four-legged whale that lived in the Sahara Desert 43 million years ago. It had a big head and a powerful bite and was a top predator, like a killer whale today. It was part of the evolution of whales from land animals that ate plants, like deer, to ocean animals that ate meat. The fossil is impressive and scary, and I hope it doesn't give you nightmares. The Sahara Desert is a fascinating place with much history and diversity. It covers 1/3 of the African continent, and it is so huge that it could fit Spain 18 times. It has different features, such as mountains, plateaus, plains covered with sand and gravel, salt flats, and more. It is very different from southern Africa, where you can find jungles and rainforests with lush vegetation. The ecology and climate of northern and southern Africa are essential to understand. I'm glad this surprising discovery has brought some attention to the Sahara Desert. There's a lot that most people don't know about it. The desert also has many dunes, which make up about 15% of its area. However, experts have discovered that this vast desert was only sometimes a desert. It used to be a colossal rainforest tens of thousands of years ago. So, what happened that caused such a significant change? Farmers in the area overgrazed the grasses and pastures for their animals, contributing to the Sahara Desert's desertification. The animals ate the plants holding the moisture in these places, and the humidity gradually decreased over time. These nomadic people in this area may have also used fire to manage the land, which may have accelerated the process. The question now is, what other things did they find in the Sahara Desert? They found several fascinating artifacts, bones, and other stuff within this site. After digging them up, they discovered whale bones believed to be millions of years old. It is incredible to observe how the local animals have developed over time. They went from land mammals to water mammals when they moved into the water, but they could not stay in the water as the water level dropped and the desert formed. Or you may be curious about the link between the Sahara Desert and the lost city of Atlantis. There's a hidden connection between the Sahara Desert and Atlantis. It has to do with the Eye of the Sahara, a mysterious bullseye in the desert. This is where we need to look. Some call it the Guelba Riche, or the Eye of the Sahara. It is an ancient geological feature in the Sahara Desert that resembles a giant bullseye. It spans 40 kilometers across the desert. For a long time, only a few native tribes knew about it. It was first photographed by astronauts on the Gemini program in the 1960s. They used it as a landmark to track their landing progress. Later, another satellite took pictures of it and measured its size, height, and width. It was once thought that a space impact made the Eye of the Sahara from something crashing into the Earth. But scientists found out that this dome is part of the Earth after studying the rock inside it. According to folklore, the rock is 100 million years old. In the rock, there are many kinds of stones, and the layers within the rock have been utilized to measure a great deal of information. However, there is yet another interpretation of the Eye of the Sahara. People have been hunting for Atlantis, which has disappeared from society for an extended period. Many individuals have looked throughout the ocean and they get the impression that it is empty now. On the other hand, one YouTuber believes that the size and shape of the Eye of the Sahara are identical to those of Plato's Atlantis. It would appear that the area's mountains, rivers, and other geological features correlate with the location of the ancient city of Atlantis. Additionally, the date coincides with the time when the legendary city of Atlantis was reported to have been obliterated. The Eye of the Sahara is associated with many unexplained phenomena. Clay vessels made of clay were also found in the region, which is intriguing. The ancient Egyptians who resided beside the Nile did not utilize these items. This was clay that was employed by another culture in the area. There is still a great deal more to learn about the region. What kinds of thoughts come to mind about the enormous Sahara Desert, also shrouded in mystery? There are a great many questions that have no clear answers. There may be more stranger animals out there just waiting to be found. The Saharan Desert is the site of discovering a dinosaur with a bulldog-like face. A beautiful crested dinosaur with a gigantic sail was found in the Sahara Desert. It resembled a giant bulldog and had a crest on its head. The frightening Cretaceous period carnivore was 20 feet long and weighed 3 tons, according to scientists' findings. The size was comparable to that of a school bus. It is pretty likely that it was the most dangerous predator in its range. The nameless theropod belongs to the family Nabellisaurid and is related to the terrifying Tyrannosaurus rex. The fossil of a neck bone that is 98 million years old was found by scientists in the Baharia Oasis, which is approximately 300 kilometers to the southwest of Cairo. This spot would have been up there with some of the most horrific locations on the Earth back then. According to the study's primary author, currently enrolled at Ohio University as a PhD in the Biological Sciences program, the researchers said the dinosaur had a bulldog-like face with razor-sharp little teeth. It had stubbly limbs like its T-Rex cousin. They believe it was a vicious killer with a bite as sharp as a razor, an acute sense of smell, and tremendous speed. Even a Spinosaurus, the hero of the third Jurassic Park movie by vanquishing a T-Rex, was no match for it. It inhabited an area close to a river that cut across the Sahara Desert and was bordered on both sides by trees resembling mangroves. The most notable aspect of this creature was its spinal sail, created by extended vertebrae joined together by a membrane. But what new information did they acquire as a result of the discovery? Under the skin's surface, a succession of flat bones extended for a distance of 6 feet. They were encircled by a network of minute veins all the way around. The blood that circulated through them gave the sail a reddish hue. It is possible that it changed color to terrify an adversary, attract a partner, or control its body temperature by absorbing heat from the environment. Salem provided additional insight into the creature's history described in a press statement issued by the university. He highlighted how abelisaurids were either one of the most feared predators during the Cretaceous period or had an exceptionally diversified population. The discovery of this dinosaur enables paleontologists to add yet another dangerous animal to their catalog. Spinosaurus and 2 other colossal theropod dinosaurs, Carcharodontosaurus and Barhariosaurus, can now celebrate the arrival of the abelisaurid specimen. A group of top-level predators known as abelisaurids once inhabited the regions now known as South America, India, and Africa. Scientists believe that they hunted and killed some of the largest dinosaurs, such as the titanosaur, a herbivore that weighed 70 tons and was about the size of a blue whale. This discovery also shows that the warm and shallow ocean known as the Trans-Saharan Seaway, which initially covered the Sahara Desert, did not impact these animals' movement. The discovery of the new dinosaur indicates the vast geographic range of abelisaurids in North Africa and the unusual diversity of large-bodied dinosaurs in Egypt. The discovery of the new dinosaur demonstrates both of these facts. During the time of the late Cretaceous, this particular dinosaur group occupied a large portion, or even the entirety of northern Africa. This is according to Salem. This suggests that the Trans-Saharan Seaway did not provide a substantial obstacle to the movement of large-bodied theropods during the period in question. The Baharia Formation has been very productive in terms of producing fossils of non-avian theropod dinosaurs. Spinosaurus aegypticus, Carcharodontosaurus saharicus, Barhariosaurus ingens, and Delta Dromaeus gillus are only some of the dinosaurs in this group. It is interesting to note that several of these taxa, such as Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, Barhariosaurus, and Delta Dromaeus, got to be as massive as Tyrannosaurus rex did in size. Even though it refers to a species with a much smaller body size, Salem believes that the discovery of the new belisaurid proves the presence of a fourth medium-sized to big theropod taxon in the Baharia environment. The Royal Society Journal of Open Science. A stone from the Sahara Desert may be the first physical proof of the most influential event in the history of the universe, according to researchers. The University of Johannesburg researchers say that the Hypatia stone, discovered in the Sahara Desert in 1992, is the first physical proof of a Type 1 supernova explosion. A supernova is a kind of star explosion that is one of the most energetic events that can happen in the universe. The researchers traced the origin of Hypatia, which started in the early stages of the formation of Earth, the Sun, and the other planets in our solar system. The researchers found some bizarre clues in the chemical composition of a small piece of the stone when they first discovered Hypatia. They proposed that Hypatia's origin could be traced back to when a dying star, called a red giant, collapsed into a smaller star, a white dwarf. The white dwarf was part of a pair of stars that orbited around a common center of mass. The white dwarf eventually consumed the other lead and exploded in a Type 1 supernova inside a large cloud of dust called a nebula. Gas atoms from a supernova Type 1a explosion stuck to the nebula's particles after it cooled down, forming Hypatia's parent rock. It hurtled towards our planet and smashed into Egypt's Great Sand Sea. The impact and the heat from entering the Earth's atmosphere shattered the parent rock of Hypatia. The Sahara Desert has been keeping priceless relics from all over the world and beyond for centuries. It is helping us discover answers to questions that seemed impossible to answer. We can only imagine what else lies hidden under all those dunes. In the vast stretches of the desert, where the scorching sun beats down mercilessly, an incredible discovery has sent shockwaves across the world. A team of brave explorers stumbled upon something so inexplicable, it has left even the most skeptical minds questioning what lies beyond our understanding. As they journeyed through the barren landscape, the explorers came across a hidden cavern buried beneath the unforgiving sands. What they found inside was beyond their wildest imaginations. Nestled within the depths of the cavern was an ancient artifact radiating an otherworldly energy. With each passing day, the world became more captivated by this enigmatic discovery. Speculations, rumors, and theories ran rampant, fueling the imaginations of people worldwide. Tales of lost civilizations, extraterrestrial contact, and hidden knowledge proliferated, enticing us with the promise of unlocking ancient secrets. As we eagerly await further revelations, one truth remains certain. This discovery in the desert has reminded us that our world is still full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled. It has sparked a renewed sense of curiosity, pushing us to explore the uncharted territories of our existence. Who knows what lies beyond the veil of this enigmatic artifact? The possibilities are endless, and as we delve deeper into the unknown, we must remember that it is our boundless curiosity that drives us forward, even in the face of fear.